In England, in 1817, Mary Shelley's novel was completed, and in 1818 it was published. It was about a young scientist, a student of anatomy, who assembled a being in his laboratory and succeeded in infusing it with life by way of electricity. The being, given no name, was a monstrous 8-foot creature with a horrible face that frightened all beholders into fits. The monster can find no place in human society, and in his misery turns upon the scientist and all those dear to him. One by one, the scientist's relatives, including his bride, are destroyed, and in the end the scientist dies as well. The monster wanders off into the wilderness, presumably to die of remorse. The novel made a huge sensation, and has never stopped making a huge sensation. There is simply no question as to which Shelley made the greater mark on people generally. To the students of literature, the Shelley may be Percy Bysshe, of course, but stop people on the street and ask them if they've ever heard of Adonais, or Ode to the West Wind, or The Cenci. Maybe they have, but very likely they have not. Then ask them if they have ever heard of Frankenstein. For Frankenstein was the name of Mrs. Shelley's novel and of the young scientist who created the monster. Ever since, a Frankenstein has been used for anyone or anything that creates something that destroys the creator. The exclamation, "I have created a Frankenstein's monster," has become such a cliché that it can be used only humorously nowadays. Frankenstein achieved its success, at least in part, because it was a restatement of one of the enduring fears of mankind, that of dangerous knowledge. Frankenstein was another Faust, seeking knowledge not meant for man, and he had created his Mephistophelian nemesis. In the early 19th century, the exact nature of Frankenstein's sacrilegious invasion of forbidden knowledge was clear. Man's advancing science might, conceivably, imbue dead matter with life. But nothing man could do could create a soul, for that was God's exclusive domain. Frankenstein, therefore, could, at best, create a soulless intelligence, and such an ambition was evil and deserving of ultimate punishment. The theological "thou shalt not" barrier against man's advancing knowledge and intensifying science weakened as the 19th century progressed. The Industrial Revolution broadened and deepened, and the Faustian motif gave way, temporarily, to a buoyant belief in progress and an inevitably approaching utopia through science. This dream, alas, was shattered by World War I. That horrible Holocaust made it quite plain that science could, after all, be an enemy of humanity. It was through science that new explosives were manufactured and that airplanes and airships were constructed to carry those explosives to areas behind the lines that earlier might have been secure. It was science that made possible, in particular, that ultimate horror of the trenches, poison gas. Footnote: the Faustian role of science in World War I was dwarfed to insignificance by its role in World War II and in the Cold War. The hydrogen bomb and bacteriological warfare reduced poison gas attacks to mere inconveniences. Consequently, the evil scientist, or at best the foolishly sacrilegious scientist, became a stock character in post-World War I science fiction. In the days immediately following the war, an extremely dramatic and influential example of this motif was advanced, again revolving about the creation of quasi-life. This was the play R.U.R. by the Czech writer Karel Čapek. It was written in 1921 and translated into English in 1923. R.U.R. stood for Rossum's Universal Robots. Like Frankenstein, Rossum had discovered the secret of creating artificial men. These were called robots, from a Czech word meaning worker, and the word entered the English language and gained a strong hold there. The robots were intended, as their name implies, to be workers, but all goes wrong. Mankind, its motivation lost, seizes